Okay, and we're back for push day. Or no, yeah, push day. So I'm gonna be starting off, or I'm gonna be doing stuff a little differently for today. So, usually I start off with chest, but today I'm gonna be doing some shoulder first. Because I wanna emphasize my shoulder growth, so that's why I'm gonna do it first. I know it's probably gonna mess up, you know, my chest gains for a bit because when you do your chest, you use a lot of your shoulders to stabilize yourself and stuff. So I don't think I'll be able to lift as heavy with doing shoulders first, but we'll see. I'm gonna do a quick warm up first with a lighter weight before moving on to 25. I did another type of warm up before this as well with to for my rotator cuff. I used a cable machine. Let me see. It should be a good angle, I think. I plan on doing incline lateral raises. Let's test it out. Actually, let me change the seat. Okay, rest my leg on there. There we go. Yeah, this is a good angle, I think. Just in case, let me lower it down just a bit more. No, yeah, that's gonna be way too low. So yeah, this is a good angle. Yesterday I had a boxing club session and wasn't as bad as I thought. Let me move this back a bit just to make sure it's all in frame. There we go. So I had my boxing club yesterday, my first session, and it was not as bad as I thought. Um, the reason I'm saying that because I had the leg day the same day, and I went pretty hard on that. And they had us do running and practicing our stances. Um, so when they had us practice our stances, they had I guess, the trainers or teachers, however you want to call them, they had us like, or they had them try to push us over while we were in our stances, because the whole point of our stance is to, be able to stabilize yourself and not fall over. So when it was my turn to get, pushed, um, they almost fell because, my legs were pretty weak after the hard leg day I just did that morning. But the second time around, I was able to, stay upright pretty well. So, that's, considering my first day and I was able to learn the stance in that same session. I think that's, pretty good progress. You got to start somewhere. You're not going to just, on your first session, just start automatically start boxing, if only. But, the process takes time. Just like hitting the gym, you're not going to start off with a 2 plate bench press. You got to start with like 10 pounds, and then 20 pounds, and progress until you reach your goals. I'm doing a couple reps of these, just, some of my shoulder warmed up to the exercise. Yesterday, I realized when I was doing, or when I was hitting legs, that when I was doing my first set of squats and, remaining deadlifts, it was kind of a little rusty on the first set. But then after the sets preceding that, it felt, you know, pretty normal, I guess you could say. Um, I think it's because when you're just starting off with a working set for your first set, I guess your body is not used to the exercise, or their muscle groups aren't used to the exercise since they haven't been worked out yet. So you gotta start off with like some warm ups. So like you go, I forgot how it goes, but I think you go like um 80%, no, 20% of your max, and then like 50% of your max and 80% of your max. I don't know, like something like that. But you just like you start off light, then you progress to where you actually do your working set. So you just start off lighter, just keep progressing, progressing with heavier weight until you're pretty warmed up. I'm not gonna do that. Honestly, I feel like this is gonna take too much time. So, I guess a light set as a warm up, relatively light but not too heavy. Should be, good enough. Even my bro um told me too that you gotta get your body warmed up to the exercise. If you just start off cold, then yeah, your body's gonna be like, what's going on? And it's not gonna know what to do. So now that we got our warm up done, or more like I got my warm up done, and let's working out too. But now that I got my warm up done, it's time to do an actual working set. So I'm gonna be doing 25s for today. I think I did this earlier on Monday with 20 pounds. It just wasn't on camera because it was super packed. Like I mentioned yesterday, I was trying like a bench with like 5 other people. Because when you got like 5 benches in the whole gym, each one was like had like a bunch of people sharing one bench. So yeah, it gets pretty bad in here later in the day, but in the morning it's not too bad. There might be times when it might get packed in the morning, but like not anywhere near close to like how it would be packed like at 4 p.m. or something. Yeah. 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 All right. Left side. When you're doing this too, make sure you're controlling the negative down. You don't wanna let it just fall down. Yeah. 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 Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. That felt pretty good. I think the little warm up before that helped a bit. I think might be just a tad bit too heavy. I think I could go with 20s instead, but I don't feel like walking over to just get a 20. So I just keep sticking with the 25s and see how that goes. Believe it or not, too, the other day I had someone tell me that I had a pretty shitty straps. Um, it's funny because I never work out my traps. I think it just gets indirectly, worked out by other exercises I do, like compound exercises. I don't know if you can tell. Maybe I would put my shirt down. Like I got, pretty noticeable traps. I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, I don't really work it out. Like I know some people I see sometimes they do like the shoulder shrugs. I'm pretty sure that's what works out your traps, but I never done it. I never, thought to do something like that just because, my traps are pretty big. Um, so yeah, I never like directly work it out. Also, when you're doing when you're doing lateral raises too, the reason I brought up traps, I forgot I was talking about it, but when you're doing lateral raises, you don't want to utilize your traps for it. So well, I don't know if I can demonstrate it, but um, like if you're struggling with the lateral raise and then you're having trouble bringing it up, you don't want to like use your traps for it. Like I know you might want to do this, which you don't want to do because then you're using your trap, you're not using your shoulder anymore. You just really want to focus on the shoulder and make sure that's the only thing that's moving. So yeah, that's why I mentioned traps. I forgot what I was talking about, or I forgot what I brought it up for a second, but now I remember. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I'll think about something that I want to talk about, either be on camera or just someone else. And then, all of a sudden, I just forget what I was going to say. And I really hate when that happens because sometimes it might be like something important and then it just leaves my mind completely. And then, it won't come back to me until like a couple minutes after or even after the conversation ends, which can be annoying, especially sometimes too. I forget, like I'll be going inside a room and I forget what the whole reason I'm in that room for. I think that happens to a lot of people. And I'm sure if it happens to you, you can attest that it does get pretty annoying. And then you don't remember why you were in the room until you leave the room. All right, so this is our second set. Ooh, okay. I hope you can see that I'm not trying to use my trap. Like, if I was using my trap, I'd be doing like that, but I'm trying to only use my shoulder for this. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, not coming back up. All right. Left side. I'm feeling pretty good today. You know, last night at work, they were making some brownies at the dining hall. So there were some leftovers. So I took some home. And this morning, I was feeling a little hungry. So I just ate some brownies that I brought. And, I think I'm feeling pretty good right now because I got some carbs in before my exercise. I was honestly thinking of just bringing the whole thing with me. I just saved in a little cup. But I don't know. I don't want to be carrying around brownies like a maniac in the gym. Ugh. 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 Man. Ooh. I think another reason why I'm also feeling pretty good is I got my pre-workout today. The other day I just raw dogged it with no pre-workout. But this time I was feeling a little tired when I woke up since, had a 1 a.m. shift. So took some pre-workout and I'm feeling pretty amped up right now. Um, I forgot the thing is called. I think it's called beta alanine. So right now I feel like I got the ants crawling under my skin. Sometimes when you're tired, you gotta, it's right to get some support from that little ants. um, but cut the camera real quick right now and check on my form on this. I just have a slight suspicion that my form might not be at its best because of the weight, but guess I'll find out right now. All right, so I look back at the last two sets and it looked pretty fire. So guess where did it go? Oh, there it is. So I'm gonna continue with the 25 for my last set. Well, I would have done the same way regardless if I had good form or not. But you know, even better that it was pretty good form. So I'm gonna be doing this for the last set, and then for my drop set, I just be reusing the 12 pounds I was using for my warm up. And then that'll be it for some incline lateral raises. And then I'll be starting with my next exercise, which would be shoulder press. Ooh, okay. Gotta get myself warmed up or hype myself up for this one. Ugh. Ugh. Ooh. Ugh. Ugh. What? Ugh. 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 Ooh. Ugh. Ugh. Ooh. Ugh. 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 Ah. Ugh. 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 Oh man. Okay. Drop set. Ugh. 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 Ooh. Ugh. 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 Oh man. Ugh. 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 Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Oof. Okay. I'm gonna take a little water break. All right. So now that the raises are done, next is gonna be the shoulder press. Let me get this set up. Yeah. Okay. Actually, a little bit more inclined. I don't know about you, but personally, when I have this set up, I don't like it completely straight. I just like it with a little tiny bit of incline. That's just me. You can have it any way you like it, as long as it feels comfortable to you. I'm gonna move this seat down a bit too. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, let's move this a bit. How you guys want it like this? Yeah, that looks pretty good there. You guys got the front view. Yeah, I don't know what it's about today, but I'm feeling, pretty optimistic. But that could just be the ashwagandha I took this morning. Just got to be careful if you're taking ashwagandha or considering it. If you take too much of it, there's a slight chance you lose some of your emotions, and then you're gonna become like Michael Myers or something. uh, just reminding me of something. I think I mentioned ashwagandha to a friend one time. He said, "You gotta be careful with it because you can lose all of your emotions." And I guess he misheard me or something. He's like, "What? You lose all your emotion?" He's like, "You don't got emotion like me." uh, he's he's like one of the smartest people I know, but you can say the funniest stuff sometimes. uh, it's fun hanging out with him. You know, gotta usually the smartest people say can say the dumbest things sometimes, but that's what's best about them. You gotta have always gotta have someone like that in your life. It brings up the mood and stuff. Uh, Personally, I don't think like I'm the smartest out there, but I think I can be funny at times. I don't know. You tell me. um. Oh, actually, I need another weight. I can't do. I can't do what's it called? Um, Shoulder presses with just one dumbbell. I mean, definitely you can, but it's gonna be inefficient. You can just do both arms at the same time. So I'm gonna make a quick cut and then come back when I get. Actually, I'm gonna probably go heavier too. I might go 55 should be all right. I think that's what I did on Monday and it went all right. So I'm gonna get a 55 again and we'll see how that goes. All right. So got myself some 50 pounds. Let me see. Okay. Just looking up the camera a bit. I don't know, is that good? I just assume it's good. So got myself some 50 pounds. I was also gonna get some 25s at the same time, but those were being used right now. So when I get to my last set, I'll go looking for them. If not, then I might go with the 30s or 20s. I was gonna get the 55 pounds too for my regular sets, but those were also being used. I was gonna go with I was actually considering getting 60s, but I feel like the 60s would be too much. After doing the incline lateral raises, if it was my first exercise starting off with, then maybe. But 50 should be all right. It's not like you got to go heavy for everything. Ugh. 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 Yeah, those were coming up anytime soon. Yeah, you got a choice getting in the 50s. I don't think if I got to 60, it'll be going up as well. So you gotta know your limits. Um, especially for the heavier weights, you don't wanna accidentally hurt yourself. I think after this, have to fall off. After this, I'm gonna be doing some face pulls when a machine opens up later on after I'm done with this. Okay. Also, I'm gonna bring up too that when you're doing shoulder press on the day I was when it was packed on Monday, I was working with a few people and they were doing some shoulder presses too. And I saw two different people make two different mistakes that I want to point out that you should avoid. The first one being, I was getting heavier weights than you're able to handle. Um, so the first one, or the first guy, he got 45 pounds for his overhead press, and I can already tell he was struggling. He was like arching his like so much like this. You don't want to arch your back too much. I mean, it's okay if you arch it a bit, but like too much, like excessively, yeah, no good. Um, but that's not um the I guess the big mistake. The big mistake was just giving heavier weights you could handle, because if you do that, then your form's gonna break and there's risk for injury, especially for shoulders too. You really don't want to hurt your shoulders because you use your shoulders for a lot of stuff. It's especially if you're gonna work out chest. Um, Shoulders is really important for chest. So, and in general too, you don't wanna hit your shoulders. They're vital. So yeah, just don't get heavy weights. I know he was doing the 45s. Like I could see him struggling so much. And I was like, yeah, I can handle 50s. I was like, I don't think you, I don't think that's a good idea. You should honestly get like 30s or something. Um, so yeah, that's what I said. But it happens. He was still pretty new. Um, if I see some newer people, gotta help them out. You gotta, if you're kind of experienced, I only have a year, which isn't much, but it's still something. So, you just gotta help your fellow gym bros out or fellow gym goers. So yeah, that was still one of the mistakes. Another mistake I saw, another guy, he was doing some the same exercise, shoulder presses. He was pretty strong. He was doing 50s pretty well. But there was a slight problem, and that was he was going like too straight, um, or how should I say it? Like a 90-degree angle with your arms when he was doing it. So he was like this basically. If you're doing this, you know, in my opinion, it doesn't feel very comfortable. And you could also, I guess, you can technically hurt yourself too like that. It's the same thing with chest, or bench presses. When you're doing dumbbells, when you're doing dumbbell bench presses, you don't lay down and you have your arms like this. Typically people tell you to have your arms in a 40 or 45-degree angle. Pretty sure it's 45. So 45-degree angle when you do your dumbbell chest or bench press. So it's no different when you're doing shoulder presses too. You also want it at a 45-degree angle, not like this, like this. You know, like I can do it like I'm doing it right now. Like this feels way better than doing it like this. I feel a lot more strain at a 90-degree angle than I do with a 45. So something to keep in mind when you're doing some shoulder presses. Typically I wouldn't do shoulder presses because it mostly targets your I guess the front part of the shoulder, which you don't really have to directly work it out too much since they get indirectly worked out from other exercises. But I don't have any other plans for shoulders in terms of exercises, so I just do it in because why not? I just have the three exercises. Second, it could have just been two, but I don't know, just for consistency, I like keeping things at three. So I just threw that in. But it doesn't hurt to do it. But anyways, that should be my rest complete. Let's get on with the second set. So if you're having trouble bringing these up too, you can just have it like near your knees right here, pretty close to it, so that when you're about to start, you can just kick it up like that. Yeah. Yeah, those were definitely not coming up, no matter how much I tried to push it up. So right now, since done with the second set, I did mention that I'm gonna get some 25s once I get near my last set. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna cut the camera and then go find my drop set weights. All right, got my drop set weights. I got the 25 right here. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's I was hoping to get the rounder ones, like the 50 pounds I was just using. I'm not a big fan of the weight I just showed you. I don't know. There's just something about it. Like, I don't know. Can't describe it. If your gym has like weights like this, and you use, I don't know, the other weight I was just using, it might, you might know what I'm talking about, but yeah, they just don't feel the same. If I had the opportunity, I'll get, this weight. This is the one I like. The other one is a no-go, but that was the only 25 option available. So it's all right. No, what matters is I got, oh, okay, there we go. Almost fell off my lap. So what matters, I guess, it's just that I have my weight. So I should be content that I have it. So in the end, it's all right. Can't complain. But still would have liked to have this weight. But it'd be like that sometimes. Whew, okay. Yeah, shake off all the nerves for that last set. Okay. Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get there. Whew. Hope I pushed myself hard enough there. And I couldn't get the weights up. No, I just guess use some of the momentum from my body just to get the shoulders up. Whew. Okay, so now that's done. Guess what's left in terms of shoulders? It's gonna be to do some face pulls, and then I don't know what the plan is after that. After I'm done with shoulders, I don't know if I'm gonna do some chest next or some triceps. Probably triceps. Not gonna lie. I feel like if I do chest right after shoulders, I'm probably not gonna get the best set. I think my thinking is that if I do triceps next, my shoulders will have at least some time to get some rest in, get the fatigue out of it. Even if it's just a tiny bit, that should be enough. So then when I get to my shoulder, or not my shoulder, my chest, it should be, pretty well rested up so that I can do some heavy or not heavy, but some hard um, chest sets. So I don't know. I guess I'll decide once we reach that bridge or cross that bridge. So but for now, I'm gonna wipe down the bench and put away the equipment I was just using, and then I'll be back for the face pulls. Okay, here we are for some face pulls. My shoulders are nagging me a bit from the last one, the shoulder press. I can't tell if it's just tired from the exercise or it's just a little hurt, but I won't let that keep me from doing some face pulls and finishing my shoulder. So, just to make sure it's all right, I'm gonna be starting off with some 50 pounds on this, and I'll be using this kind of grip with it. That's how I typically grip it. You can also do it like this too. I don't know, just like it better like this. So let's give it a try. You know, yeah, there we go. That should be good. Hopefully you can see me. I'm actually gonna move it just a tiny bit more like that. Yeah, hopefully that should be good. Actually, let me see if it's the cables in there in the shop. No, it's not. Yeah, actually that should be good. My bad. Yes, it's hard to tell, but I got the screen facing the other way, so I can't really see myself on how the shot's looking like. No, the only problem with this exercise is that it tries to pull the end, so you just gotta have a good stance so you don't get sucked into the cable. But doing this, it feels pretty good. So, oh, my shoulders, I mean. So I'm gonna move up the weight a bit. So let's give 80 a shot. That should be all right. Actually, what I'm gonna do real quick is cut the camera and just replay that warm up there just to make sure it's on the shot. The tragedy they did the whole set and it wasn't even in the shot. Okay, I can confirm it's all in the shot. So first is the verdict. So now that's all sorted out. Just get started with the working set. So set one, Oh yeah, I can already feel it pulling me in, and it's only 80 pounds. Oh yeah, leave my other leg. I think that might be better. Oh yeah, much better. I think. Yeah, make sure you're also squeezing your real delts too when you bring it in. Ugh. 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 Ooh, okay. We're gonna try with the other grip. Let's see if that's better. Ugh. 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 Yeah, I don't know. I like it with this grip better. I don't like this grip as much, so I'll just stick with, I don't know how you even call this grip. I guess with between your fingers. Ooh, okay. So I think I'll keep sticking with the 80s, the 80 pounds. Because it's not feeling too heavy. So yeah, that's good. If it was any heavier, I think it'll just be sucking me into the cable machine. It's trap me and tingle me all up in it. And then I'm gonna be stuck here for the rest of the school year until summer comes around, and then the maintenance for the gym running the site to fix their machines. And by that time I'm gonna be all skeleton, lost all my muscles. No, it'd just be a real shame. Oh, I'm gonna take a quick sip of water. I don't understand why they're charging me so much to go to this school when they don't even use the money, you know, for important stuff like the gym. Um, I think last year, I forgot what semester it was. I think it was a fall semester. They started building a statue. I think that cost like millions to build it. And, it kind of makes me wonder why they're spending money on stuff like a statue. We don't need more statues. We got plenty. Well, actually, don't even need statues here. I would much rather prefer, if they actually use that money, to expand housing or improve, dining experiences, or even better, the gym. Well, what when you dream? The gyms are pretty small here. We got two, but the if you combine both the gyms, it just equals a regular size gym. So, you know, no, it doesn't really help. Mm. And especially for how much students come here, I think that's probably the one of the reasons too why they're so small. It's because we still have a lot of students come here. Like we have at least 4,000 or something. I don't know, but I know actually how much students even go to colleges typically. I'm assuming like at least 4,000, but pretty sure there could be more. Like if you go to UCLA, I bet there's at least 9,000 or something. I don't know how that works. Um, yeah, I don't, well, like I said, I do work for the school since, I work at the dining center here, but I don't know how like internal stuff works. So, that's out of my knowledge, but, I think 4,000 should be a safe bet. I think, I did a orientation like 2 years ago when I first came to the school. And I think they said it was 4,000 or something or more. And that's probably why some things are pretty small, like housing. Well, if you think about it, 4,000 is a lot of people, and there's not really much housing to fit them all. But I think that's also including grad students. I guess they don't get their own housing, so I don't know. But what I do know is that they should make the gyms bigger and put more equipment. Because who doesn't like variety of equipment? I know I do, but I think by the time that does happen, I'm probably not going to be at the school anymore. So that's a shame. But at least I'll be going to, an actual gym by then if I'm not homeless at it. All right. So enough talk. I know I can get carried away in my ramble sometimes, but I gotta focus on what's important, and that's some face pulls. Well, gotta get my stance right. I must not pulled in again. Duh, 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 duh. Ugh. I seriously think they could make face pulls into a Squid Games challenge or something. Like, I don't know, they have a contestant do like the max weight on the face pull. Here's like 200 pounds. So, they gotta do one rep without getting pulled into the cable machine and then getting trapped there. that'll be that'll be pretty fun. Yes. So go one more set of this, and I guess since I am here and I did say I wanna do shoulder or not shoulders, triceps before chest. I'm gonna do some what's it called? Cable rope triceps pushdowns, or whatever it's called. It's a long name for that exercise. But yeah, that's probably gonna do next. I'll decide on the weight when I get there, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be something like 100 pounds on it. I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, I did it. Something to get my words mixed up. So, I did it on Monday, and I did 100 pounds, and I went pretty smoothly, or at least I think I did. So I'll just do that again, man. Don't mind me when I say something that doesn't sound like the word I want to say. I do have a stuttering thing. Sometimes I'll have a lot to say, but can only say it so fast. So I get my words jumbled up. Um, yeah, I don't know. Guess runs in my family or something. Well, I don't think my older brothers have that problem, but I know my little brother and me do. Well, I guess technically then it doesn't really run in the family. If it's just us two. I think it does happen to my dad, so maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe just got lucky. But yeah, um, hopefully, the more I do some of this commentary in the videos, maybe I learn how to, I guess, slow down. Think about the words they want to say, so I don't stutter as often because the most embarrassing thing that could happen to you when you're in a debate with someone about a meaningless topic, like if water's wet, and then you just start stuttering in the middle of your argument, and then that completely nullifies everything that you just said. Everything you just said, and before that, it's not no value anymore. Because then your opponent or your rival or whatever you want to call him, gonna point that out, and then it's game over. That's you just lose. Put the price in the bag. So yeah, that's what I want to improve. Um, I want to also learn how to articulate more of my words so they sound more clear. Because sometimes I'll be talking, I'll be like 5, 10 sentences deep into a conversation and what I'm trying to say, and then the other person just says they don't even know what I'm saying. So then I have to repeat myself again. But by that time, I already forgot what I said, so I can't. And then we're just there awkwardly staring at each other. Um, so yeah, that's not fun. So it just comes with practice. I don't really talk that much. I think I mentioned that. I'm a reserved person. I keep it to myself. There's only a select few of people I like talking to. Um, well, it's not like I don't like talking to anyone, but I just get a little shy talking to new people. I don't know. I get a little nervous, but I guess once I get to know them, it's all right. You know, open up a bit, but just completely new people. I technically tend to keep to myself. The only way I would, you know, talk is if they're the first one to initiate the conversation. Otherwise, if they had the option, I'd rather just say nothing. The only time I would be the first to initialize. Yeah, that's the word. Initialize a conversation. Instead of like if I see someone walking by and they have like a nice band shirt of a band I know, and I'll be like, I like your shirt. And then we start talking about my favorite bands. And I'll tell them I've been to this show. I know these songs. I like this subgenre, you know, and then become acquaintance. I don't know what's the word. Uh, whatever. Forget about it. That's so yeah. And then if I ever see him around, like, oh, what's up? I guess that's how you become friends with someone. You gotta have something in common, or you have to be interested or something about something, or I don't know. I don't know how that works. um, but I know what does work, and that is doing face pulls for your rear delts. So I'm gonna be doing my my third set now, face pulls, and then I'll be moving it down to 40 pounds for my drop set because I love having or doing 50% of my original weight for my drop set. I don't know, for me 50% of your original working set weight is what I like to do. But I don't know, it's up to you to decide, not me. It depends how you like doing things. If you think you could do a little bit heavier, like maybe you can do 75% of your weight, then go right ahead. But I think if you're doing more than 50% of your original weight, so like if you're doing 80, or yeah, if you're doing 80, and then you bring it down to like 60 or 70, and you can do it just fine, then I don't think you worked. I don't think you did a hard set. Um, if you still have juice left, yeah, you didn't do a hard enough set. But yeah, I guess that's what the drop set's for, to get as much as the fuel out of your system. You know, so whatever. Enough talk. Let's get the third set done, so I can do some triceps. I got two shifts today actually. I got one at 1. I have no idea what time it is right now, but I'm assuming I got enough time since I came here at 10:30. About so I don't think I'm gonna be spending more than 2 hours here today, or maybe I might. You know, there's been a time where I'd be here for like 3 or 4 hours, so I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, let's get the third set done. Oh, wrong grip style. Ugh. Ooh. Duh. 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 Yeah. 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 Yeah, man. Ooh. Okay. That's 8 pounds down to now let's do 40 pounds. Ooh. Oh man. My shoulders are being tired. Duh. Duh. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Duh. 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 Oh. Okay, that was pretty good, I'd say. So that's shoulder zone. Let's do some triceps. Gonna cut the camera, take 5. Okay, for our first the tricep rope cable push down thingy majiggy. I'm gonna be starting off with some 50 pounds to warm myself up a bit, and then move up.
Okay, you cannot record right here.
Huh?
You cannot record.
I can't. Are you just joking with me?
That is.
You scared me for a second. What? What you said? If you want to move it, so you're not in the shot. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna be doing the 50 for my warm up. Okay. So okay, yeah, this feels fine with the 50s. I think I'm gonna actually move this a bit. I don't know if you can see me very good like that. Let's get a side shot. Yeah, that should be better, I think. Yeah. 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 Man. Okay. I think that was a pretty good weight. Um, I don't think I was ego lifting there. The goal is not to well how much I can lift. It's all about how you lift. That makes sense. What looks better is a good form than sloppy form and heavy weights, right? Because if you just see someone, doing some dumbbell, bicep curls, and you're even swinging around everywhere, you're gonna think that it look funny. But if you see someone doing some dumbbell bicep curls with good form, then you're gonna be like, no, they know what they're doing, right? So I'm gonna continue with the 100 pound. Think that was pretty good. I was feeling, tension in my triceps the whole time. But I got a pretty good pump in from that. But don't let the pump deceive you. No, just because you get a good pump in doesn't mean you get big gains. It's all about the form. But if you do get a pump, it's not a bad thing. It just means, or it's a good sign that you're working on the right muscle, right? So I'm gonna take 5. I'm gonna check the time actually, just to make sure I'm on track and I'm not late to work because that'll be not so good, right? Okay, bad news, buckle. But we only got or I only got 30 minutes left for my workout. Um, I don't know how that's possible. I swear, I only took like 40 minutes or something for shoulders, but I guess it was longer than that. I was attending to do my whole push day today, but it looks like it won't fit. So I guess the plan is just finish up my tricep pushdowns. I'm on my second set, I believe. So I'm gonna finish this and then just head back to my dorm and then get ready for work because I got work at 1 and it's currently 12:34. So yeah, not much time. So let's finish this up and wrap it up. It's so unfortunate. I was hoping to do everything, but it looks like it's not possible right now. But you know, gotta work with what time you have. Okay. When you're doing the tricep rope push downs, make sure you're like bending your wrists outwards so you feel like a tension or whatever you want to call it in your triceps. Duh, 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 duh. Okay, yeah. Wasn't coming down no matter how much I push down. So that was a good set. And then one more set left, and then I'll wrap things up. Honestly, if you could do 100 or more on cable rope push downs, you should be proud of yourself because, out of all the push downs for your tricep, this is probably the hardest one. You know, you can do like on the straight bar 100 or more. That's still impressive, but I don't think it's not as much as a rope. I don't know. The rope just seems harder to do, but that's just my opinion. Um, my opinion doesn't matter. Everyone has their own opinion. Um, so you know, 100. Also just saying that too because I want to make myself feel better. That I could do 100 on the rope cable push down. Just being real. So gonna do one final set and then drop it down 50% of my original weight, and then that's all for today. So just gotta let up one more time in my rest. Don't wanna start my last set too early, too soon, without letting my triceps get some rest in, because then I won't be able to do that much part of a set. Man, I'm still upset that I couldn't fit everything today. Feel like if I don't do, especially my chest too, I feel like if I don't work on my chest today, I feel like the next chest or push day, for my chest gonna be like all flat and then deflated and stuff. But it's whatever. I did work out my chest earlier in the week on Monday. So, I love if I got it down at least once in the week, then hopefully it's fine. But, I'm just still glad that I was able to go today. I've been so far this week, I've been going consistently on like other weeks. and that's partially all has to do because I dropped the class, engineering class. I think I mentioned already. It wasn't very fun to take. Kind of confusing because there was a lot of diagrams and figures and stuff, and yeah, that's not really my thing. I mean, it wasn't even a required class, so like, what was the point of putting myself through all that trouble just for a class that's not even required? If I could just pick a different class to fulfill, my elective. But you know, sometimes you gotta make some tactical retreats. When you're taking some classes, if you're taking a class that's not required, you just need it for an elective. It's okay to decide, make a tactical retreat and just drop it. You don't want to stress yourself out too much for a class you don't even need. So that should be my rest break. Over. Let's get the last set done, and that's it. Okay, gotta make sure I put this like ultra complete mega failure because I won't be doing any other tricep exercises today. Because even after I'm done with work, I still got some assignments I still need to do. I haven't even looked at the assignments yet because I've been so busy with my class schedule and work. So I'm gonna have to do a speed run with all those assignments because I only got like 2-3 hours to complete them all because then I got work again. So yeah, I'm gonna do 2 shifts today. So I would have liked if it was just one because I would have more time to do my homework and stuff. But you know, whatever. Not much I can do about it. Not like I can call up work anyways. I need the money to pay off my tuition. I want to be caught in loans for the rest of my life. Ugh. Duh. 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 Okay, actually, here's a plan. I'm gonna drop it down in increments of 20. So I get a even harder set out of this. Duh. 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 Okay, that was 80. Now drop it down another 20, so it's gonna be 60. Ugh. 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 Okay, that was 60. Now it's 40. Ooh. Ugh. 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 Okay, that was 40. Next it's 20. Ugh. 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 Man, okay, that was pretty good. My triceps are fatigued from that. So yeah, that's it. Oof. Okay. Before, I think when I did a cut in the video, I was talking to my bro, and comparing um shoulder sizes. Let me show mine's off. I don't know. What do you think? I think they're looking all right. That's why I put it first today. Just so I want to improve how my shoulders look, trying to get that 3D boulder shoulder look. But it's a work in progress. I haven't been working out on it um until I think like last month, 2 months ago, or something like that. So yeah, it's something I want to improve on. So that's why I put it first today. But yeah, that's it. Gonna wrap this up, and tomorrow's gonna be whole day. Yeah. So and that's it.